Good evening, and welcome to the Society, our weekly Vaesen RPG campaign. My name is Loki, and I will be your game master for these dark and thrilling tales. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to this, the second episode of Chapter 6, and I hope that we delight, fright, and intrigue you with mystery and adventure. So without further ado, let's meet our cast and see if they're in the right places. Well, look at that. Blow me down.
Hi, I'm Amy. I'm playing Signe Veilbrock, the Sorceress.
Hi, I'm Mike, and I'm playing Maximilian Fjellbach, the paranormal investigator.
Hi, I'm Jack. I'm playing Lieutenant Colonel Bartholomew Seaton, the officer.
We have a number of people we would like to thank for all the resources and contributions they have provided to tonight's episode. The link should appear in the Twitch chat or in the details below if you are catching up on our YouTube.
Our virtual tabletop tonight is the incredible Roll20, featuring their dynamic lighting feature, inbuilt character sheets, and virtual dice roller. Go check them out at roll20.net. In addition, our battle maps were created using Dungeon Fog and all the amazing assets there.
Our character art was created by the extremely talented Shusha, who you should go and check out on Instagram at ShushaUK, that's ZSUZSAUK. Our game tokens and dice roller tokens come from the Vaesen RPG rulebook by Free League and from the artist Johan Egerkrans.
The music and ambient sound throughout the stream come from Tabletop Audio and Kevin McLeod at incomptech.com, all provided by the Roll20 Jukebox. You can check both these amazing artists out via their website at tabletopaudio.com and incomptech.com. Oh, yeah,
You're on mute, Luke.
But it was working so beautifully 5 seconds
It
ago.
really was.
I don't know about anyone else, and I'm just going to throw this out there.
Uh-oh.
Jack.
Yes.
Jack.
Yes.
The Colonel.
Yes.
You are wasted. Go and get yourself a job as a voice actor. Like, legitimately, I'm like, you need to sell me things. I want to hear your voice. Like, when I get on an aeroplane, I want to hear your voice to be like, welcome aboard this blah, blah, blah flight to wherever we're going. Be, you know, I want to be in a lift. I want to hear you on the radio. Like, you have a fabulous voice. Go and be a professional voice actor. And if needs must, you can go and read like naughty adult books on like audio books. Do you know what I mean? Go read naughty audio books. On that note, let's hit the intro
Bye,
video. Well, there you go. There you go. Let's pick up the story where we left off last week, or at least in last week's episode. We met a new character of Signy Veilbrook when Signy and Max shared a dream in which they spoke to some strange mystical creature who begged them to come and help her, for her home and her people were in great danger. It is by sheer coincidence and a twist of fate, also known as the GM, that Max and the Colonel, having left the Hall Under the Mountain, bumped into Signy in an unexpected location when Max investigates the medium providing entertainment at their hotel and discovers that Signy is her daughter.
Charlatan.
To cut a long story short, the three of them board a ship in Bergen and head north to the town of Hammerfest. They see off in the distance a small town nestled on the shore, ringed by a wild forest that reaches up to the base of a great snow-clad mountain. The characters arrive in the evening with the stars twinkling overhead, reflected in the churning surface of the ocean. And ahead of them, they see the town illuminated by this strange amber electric lighting. For Hammerfest was the first town in Norway to be electrically lit. As the ship, a steel steamer, sails in towards Hammerfest, the brave souls of the society, plus guest, stand on the prow of the ship looking at the beautiful landscape. When the ship draws ever closer and the sounds of seagulls in the town begin to lilt gently across the waves, there is a strange quiet that seems to fall over the town and the surrounding area as the electric lighting sputters, flickers, and goes out entirely, plunging the town into darkness. From the deck of the ship, it seems to be completely swallowed by the night. As quickly as the electric lights go out, you see hurried little figures producing flame light that run and jig about the dock and the streets, trying their best to re-illuminate the town with rudimentary flame. The ship slows down and begins to slowly drift into the port, now only lit by the lighting of the ships and the lanterns scattered about.
Strange. The light should go out at the same time.
Is it though? This electricity thing. I don't think it'll catch on.
Someone will certainly find a way of making money out of it.
Candles work
Indeed.
just fine in our house.
Precisely, and as long as there's the materials to make them. But it could be the fact that our quarry is already taking matters into their own hands. Did I discover anything about said Elva on the journey north?
All kinds
Reading
of
my book?
things.
Yeah. Are they buggers?
They are wild and very dangerous. They tend to... They are a law unto themselves. Completely unto themselves. And being creatures of nature, they remind you a little bit of Gaetir, who is also a spirit of nature. Helpful? Question mark. Dangerous? Definitely. Likely to cause pandemonium at any moment? Definitely.
Okay.
You read all sorts of notes and stories about Elva. They do everything from... there have been cases of Elva doing parades through the town, causing the townsfolk to dress ridiculously, go out into the streets, become incredibly inebriated, dance for what seems like days on end, lose all of their morals as they descend into some ridiculous, debaucherous party of joy and frivolity, only for the elves to just disappear and the people awaken hungover in all sorts of states. To elves stealing children and replacing them with their own, kidnapping humans for nefarious schemes, seducing humans and ensnaring them in magic and intoxication and love, to downright going on murderous rampages. So, and everything in between. You just don't know if you're going to be offered tea at a fairy ring, wake up completely naked 3 days later with no memories, or just be murdered. It could be any of them, or maybe all three of them. Who knows?
Fair indeed.
Do you, as the ship sails in and completely it docks itself, do you disembark the ship?
Totally. Signy puts on her little travel bag and almost with a skip is like, come on, let's go.
Okay.
Girl is as quick off the ship as he can because he's been feeling very uncomfortable this whole journey, and he has visible bags under his eyes from restless nights of being here.
Exactly, especially because you're the one that has to look after her.
I mean, I do in real life. I don't need to in the game as well.
Oh no, you were told to make sure that prying eyes stay off of her.
I love that Max completely has misunderstood the instructions in their entirety.
Absolutely.
As you go to disembark the ship, you step down onto the dock, lit only with the dappled flickering of lamplight. And in the absence of the electric lighting, the wild seems to press in on this little town. Their defenses are gone completely as nature creeps back in. You hear the sounds of insects, the songs of night birds, and the gentle breeze of a night wind drifting down from the mountain and humming as it dances through the streets of the town. There is a sudden cheer seemingly through the town in its entirety as the lights flicker back on, making that tinking and zizzing sound as the old style light bulbs get that power draw into them. But just as quickly as the cheer goes up and the lights come on, they flicker out again, plunging the city back into lamplight to the sounds of groaning voices and disappointment.
Max would also make the same noises, just late.
Oh.
Oh.
I love that.
It looks like our friends might already be doing something here as it is.
Or the locals in the hills, maybe.
Maybe.
We don't know. We'll find out, I'm sure.
Yes. Let's first make contact with my contact. Let's see if we can find Vivica. I believe her offices should be around here somewhere.
Contact with contact of contact?
Exactly.
There was a lot of contacts.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully she's found us some board for the night. I could do with a still night's sleep.
As long as we're not sharing again. You snore.
So I've been told.
All right. Are you going to? I imagine, Colonel, that you will search the docks, knowing that there's probably an office building here.
All of the cameras have gone off the stream, Luke.
Oh,
Yeah.
are they back?
They're back now.
Mysteries abound, right? There is mysteries abound in
We
the
have-
storytelling.
We have
Mysteries
Elva
abound
Luke's
in the
computer.
computers. I never really know. It's a big mystery to me, and I enjoy bringing you on that adventure. All right.
And we're glad to follow you on it.
Are you though? Are you though?
Definitely.
I'm not so sure.
But yes, I would be searching for on docks first.
Alright, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Badunk. Okay. You should all be able... Aha! I was like, why isn't this one? Okay, there you go. Everyone should be able to take control over the society logo token. This represents you as you are making your way around the town map, because obviously town maps are so ridiculously large. That will be like your little token flag marker. All right, lovely. Okay, so the ship to the north is the Octavia, which is the ship that you took to come here, and you are on the dock. These big buildings here to the south east of the map, these are like the big warehouses for the dock. The dockmaster's office would be here in these big warehouses, and is likely the person to know where everything is, unless, Colonel, you have visited here previously and know where the Drakenberg shipping business is. I leave that to you in your characterness.
I believe I would have done, considering how big a port this is. I will have been here before, and that's probably how I made contact with the Drakenbergs.
All right. In that case, then, let me just grab the text thing, and that, and this. Make it a bit bigger. Here. All right, there you go.
I will make haste to the Dragonbird shipping. This way. There's no point in me doing it that way. Just drop us straight off there.
Honestly.
I think he's finally noticed.
I mean, I noticed early. I just decided I wasn't going to acknowledge you so that I don't reinforce the behaviour. Okay, you arrive at the Drakenberg shipping offices. There is lamplight on the inside.
Perfect. I'll knock on the door.
Okay.
Is this person going to try and kill us and sacrifice us as well?
What?
No.
Okay.
Unless you get on the wrong side of her.
Okay.
Then she might.
You can
realise
do the
you have to
talking.
keep me safe. Keep me safe.
From prying eyes, yes. Boom, boom, boom.
The
I'm gonna kind of
door.
stand behind you.
The door opens, and in the doorway is an incredibly imposing figure. She stands just over 6 feet high and is wearing... She is wearing a man's suit. It is suit trousers, a beautiful suit dinner jacket, a crisp white shirt with a fabulous crimson cravat and pocket square to match. She has long, dark brown hair that is entirely in braids, tied up behind her. And she is wearing a crimson lipstick to tie in with the cravat and pocket square. But for the masculinity of this outfit, it has been tailored to perfection to show off her feminine shape and curves. And it cuts a striking image of a powerful businesswoman who is not to be messed with. For this is a shield maiden. Don't you forget. And she looks down at you with this beautifully made up, with her beautifully made up self, and a huge smile erupts across her face as she steps down out of the doorway to immediately embrace you, Colonel. She is terrifyingly strong. And she pulls you into this hug and claps you firmly on the back, and she says, Barty, I am so glad to see you again.
Vivi, it's lovely to see you again. How have you been?
Well, you know, business is booming.
I can see.
Well, you know, I may have finally secured that trade route.
It's you.
The trade route. It's mine. Let's put it this way, pretty much everything pays for itself nowadays. Come in, I see you've got friends.
I have indeed. This is Max, a very good friend of mine, and this is Signe. a new acquaintance of mine.
Signy Valebrock, I go and straight shake her hand.
She shakes your hand too, and you're like minuscule next to this woman. She has a very firm grip, but her hands are very soft, and she moves very gracefully. Max, she also goes to shake your hand as well, and as she does so, she says, I love the cape.
Thank you.
You cut a very fine shape.
Max will swish to the side.
And it moves beautifully. I do appreciate a man of style. You may be able to help me. I've got some drawings I've had from the tailor, and I'm hard-pressed to decide which one to select. Come in. We can get some, we'll get some tea, shall we?
Yes, please, because I know you'll have some proper English tea.
Of course I have English tea. As soon as I received your telegram, I put in an order. I have some of those... And then she pauses, and you see her think about it, and she's like... Stomach biscuits. No,
digestives.
Yes! Digestives. Some of those as well for dipping, dunking. Oh.
Yes.
It has been too long. See, I have already forgotten. And she motions for you to come in to the Drakenberg shipping offices. As you enter in, you come into a reception room, and it is beautifully presented. If this woman alone did not scream money, then this reception room certainly does. You get the feeling that this has been set out to manage extremely wealthy clientele's shipping needs and very lucrative business. This woman isn't shipping fish. Let's just put that down there. And she kind of just motions for you to take a seat. I'll be right back with that tea. Make yourselves comfortable.
The colonel has already started taking off his jacket and hanging it up. And just making himself a little more presentable. And then watching the others to see what they're doing. Make sure they're sitting in the right places.
Oh, Signy's not sitting. She's kind of like walking around the room, stroking stuff and picking things up and looking at it and being nosy.
And Max is watching Signy like a hawk.
In case she tries to nick anything. Good idea. There is... everything about this room would fool you into thinking that it was a living room in a burger's mansion. Except for a few telltale signs. There is a collection of antique shipping and navigation tools and things. There is the Colonel would know this. There is the name plate of the first Drakenberg ship mounted on the wall as an antique. And then there are things like sextants, there's sextants, telescopes, antique compasses. There's a beautiful shipping map on the wall, that is clearly not only the most up-to-date map that is available, but it has on it pins with little tags attached to them. And Signy, as you get close, you realise as you look at them, they're all like boat names. So this woman is clearly keeping track of ships as they leave on the map, and she is moving the pin along the trade route like each day on where it should be along, like in the sea. And there is another great wall covered in tiny slats of wood, sat on which are cards with numbers and letters, and it is a list of all the things you could think of that may or may not be coming in and out of port, and then next to them, like, what they're currently trading for cost-wise.
Oh, the temptation to interfere. But she won't. Signy's quite offended that Max got attention for his outfit and she didn't, and being quite childish. And not a fan of people with money, having not had any. She's just kind of doing that thing of like checking for dust and going, oh, at how wealthy this person is. She's just jealous.
Go on, Colonel.
The Colonel's going to go over to the ship maps and he's going to be like tracing all the lines, seeing where everything's going, seeing what's coming in and out at the moment. Obviously, without going through actual records, but what's on display kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I quite imagine that the Colonel, you almost gravitate immediately to your family's shipping lanes, when, especially when you see that there are pins on those shipping lanes, and you know, and that kind of makes you smile, and it reminds you of. It's nostalgic. It reminds you of your childhood. It reminds you of your years as a young man before the armed forces. And then it reminds you of the few years after. Those few really difficult years after the events. And your coming out of the armed forces, when you kind of returned back to your family business as just a safe place to try and recover and recuperate. So it's like a mixed set of feelings as you kind of see your family ships on their shipping lanes. But you are drawn out of your reverie by the sound of the door opening and the little clank of china. And Vivica turns around with a tray, sitting on which is a fine, almost exquisite set of Chinese porcelain. There is a teapot with a hideous tea cozy on it, and a selection of teacups and saucers, and all of the teacups are upside down in their saucer, and there is like a little plate with some digestives on it. There is also 4 small glasses and a very fine bottle of scotch. And she plonks the tea down on the coffee sort of table in the middle, and she says, "Help yourselves to tea and biscuits. I myself have bought my own special kind of tea." And she sloshes some of this scotch into one of these small glasses, slams the whole thing back, tops the glass up, and then sits down ready to sip it.
That's the same brand of scotch your father used to drink.
Oh, don't remind me. I have tried for years to find one that I prefer, and I just can't. The old man had taste. I have to admit it. The old man had taste.
That's it. I mean, it's tempting me over the tea, if I'm honest.
I suggest one of each.
How is my old man doing?
What, that cantankerous old goat? I tell you, he's trying to stiff me, he is.
He tried to stiff everyone.
Yes, well, that doesn't make a lady feel very special now, does it? After all these years of trading with him, I thought I'd at least be getting mates rates. Is that what you call it? Mates rates?
That is a phrase that we have used.
Marvellous. Marvellous. It doesn't translate very well, but...
Oh, I mean, do you remember Agnes?
Yes, I do. That old windbag. All he wanted was trains, 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 trains. I did hear that he did get that steam train after all, although the newspapers were quite shifty about whatever happened with it.
He managed to die on it.
Die on it?
Twice.
Oh, twice?
Yes, that's a story for another time.
Another time? I think not. Another scotch. Come on, everyone. And she pours scotch for everybody. Bottoms up! Which she says in English. And it's with the most ridiculous, stereotyped English accent that you've ever heard. And she just knocks this scotch back and then looks expectantly at everyone else.
Oh, the Colonel's gone straight into it. And gone, your dad had taste.
Max does it, and then goes, "Bleh."
Signy's gonna knock it back. Never having had strong scotch before, but try her best to compose the face.
I am so glad that you said try her best to compose, because we need to do a roll. Alright, Signy, can I get a force roll from you, please? I know it sounds a little bit peculiar, but in Vaesen, force is used not only for your strength, but also for your the control that you can have over your body.
Okay.
You full on knock this back, and in your absolute surprise, immediately begin the spluttering cough as you are
GM.
almost certain.
Was that supposed to be with a help?
Oh, it was supposed to be with a help. Roll it again! With a +1 modifier. Did we do this last session? I think
I
we
have
did,
talked
didn't we?
through this.
Okay, lovely.
I just put one in the box.
Just the
right?
one?
Number one.
Yeah, number 1 in the box.
Here we go.
There you go.
There you go, that's how the help works.
The help helped! You can
Thank
say
you.
thank you to Wolfie Knight for the help.
Thank you, Wolfie Knight. She needed it.
No, you don't cough and splutter at all. You knock it all the way back and, determined not to embarrass yourself in this situation. And you get a look of approval from Vivica, who just sort of nods in your direction appreciatively. And she says, you will have to tell me the story of the train and that old windbag dying twice.
Well, Max gives his best rendition, missing out the fact that there was a bottled ghost.
Yeah, it's like this sort of weird murder
He faked
mystery.
his own death. Had
Gasp.
secret tunnels going underneath the train. Yeah. And he was slowly bumping everybody off.
I knew it. He was all.
Kevin's just sitting there, like with his cup of tea, just watching it. Not as if it's the first time, just enjoying the atmosphere of where he is.
I knew it. That shifty old goat. You know, I knew that there was something devious about him when he undercharged me. He gave me a discount on a linen shipment, and I knew immediately that there was something about him. I'm thoroughly unsurprised it turns out that he was murderous intent. Who discounts linen? I took it anyway, and I made double the profit.
Of course.
Of course. If the fool will sell it for me at less price, then I will double the profit. Anyway, what brings you here? It was a rather mysterious telegram to pop out of the blue, and I don't have any trade scheduled in the steel market or anytime soon.
As much as I would love to be here to make a profit with you, sadly I'm here about the dam that's being built.
Oh, the dam. Damn the dam! That's what everyone's saying in the town at the moment. Damn the dam.
Damn. Now, why is that?
You did hear about the project, didn't you, to expand and fit a proper dam? Or do I need to catch you up? There's been some big changes since last you were here.
I have heard multiple renditions, and now I trust your opinion a lot better than some shipping lane person.
Well, of course you are. I'm going to be completely honest with you about everything except the price. Well. So. A few years back, there was an engineering experiment funded by the government and the Crown and a couple of other crowns as well to install this newfangled electricity into the town. We were all a bit suspicious of it at first, but I tell you, I was willing, you know. Technological advancements to speed up the profit, that's what I say. Now, in order to supply the town with electricity, they needed to build a small hydroelectrical plant. Don't ask me what that is. I truly do not know, but I hear it is a marvel of the modern era. Apparently, it catches water and uses it to produce electricity that then fuels all of these flameless lights in the town. And in here, I do add, and she points up to the ceiling, and you see that there is some wiring in the ceiling and a few of these light bulbs dotted about the room, although the room is lit by old style lamps that are in sort of sconces on the walls. And she says, and it all worked beautifully, I might add. It was very small at first, you know, they could only do the lights on the docks. And then there was a grand scheme to put the lights throughout the town and the houses and give access to everyone for this electricity. But to do so, they needed to build a bigger power plant, if I'm getting that correct. And they decided they were going to build a great dam, and it would be filled with this engineering marvel that would capture electricity from the water. And it's been a disaster. A disaster. Anyone, well, I'm not going to say anyone. I'm going to say everyone. Anyone who is everyone that believes in all that superstitious hokum is convinced that the dam is cursed. Cursed. Absolutely cursed. I mean, as baffling as it is, the recent gossip on the street is that trolls are coming down out of the mountain at night and hurling stones at the dam. So every time they try to build the dam, it falls back down at night when the trolls throw stones at it. Ludicrous, right? Ludicrous.
Has anybody told you what colour the trolls are by any chance?
I didn't realise that was an important part of the story.
Sorry.
I'm going to go with no.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to go with no. Well, I certainly don't know, but feel free to ask around the town. The gossip is rife. All the old biddies are at it. None of them can help themselves. Hanging out the laundry. It's trolls in the night. Making apple tarts. It's a lindworm from the mountain. Even mermaids. I heard one old lady regaling an entire ship's crew while she fixed their fishing nets that it was mermaids. Mermaids! Mermaids.
Do you have some more scotch by any chance?
Oh, yes, please help yourselves.
Thank you.
Eat the biscuits too.
Look, Max is
The
like this.
biscuits are all gone.
At the sound of
Definitely
mermaids,
eaten
like...
every biscuit.
And the Colonel has done the same and passed his glass across to be filled.
Yes, young lady. Please tell me you don't have a theory as well. But if you do, I guess, please share away.
I mean, elves? I'm just going to go straight out there with it.
Elves. I haven't heard that one, but we'll add it to the list. I'm sure it is as likely as all the other options.
Is there a possibility that there are some townsfolk who are tampering with it?
Yes, well, that's what I thought at first. I believed that some of the townsfolk may be interfering to try and hamper, the installation of this newfangled modern era. But I've done a little digging, and it can only be, at this point, incompetence. I don't know whether it's the architect, the engineer, or the foreman, but it must be incompetence. They're building the dam in the wrong place. Maybe the foundations aren't quite right. We see this with ships all the time. Good design, good foundation, good foreman, good ship. One of those falls over, and the ship is doomed to sink.
Who is heading the project?
Well, the project itself is running under the guise of the UKSN Power. Of course, the government had to get involved. Anything for good press. Hey. So the UKNS Power... Is it Grid? Maybe Grid. But it's not. This is just a brand name stuck on the outside for publicity. I should know. I did it for years. Made a fortune producing barrels with my business name on them. But that's beside the point. It is being run and funded by I do believe the Olafsson family. course, it's being run by a private investor, and the government is just using it as some sort of propaganda spiel. At the moment, the board members, they came and visited quite recently and left in a terrible state of affairs. It was Orid and Patrick Olafsson. They're 3 brothers. The third one is the foreman.
Do I recognise that name? Olafsson?
Oh, it's like one of those, like... they're a Swedish aristocracy family name, and they tend to invest in things. They've got fingers in all the pies.
So I'm assuming my father probably would have dealt with them during the war, with the trade for steel for the chips.
You're on mute, Luke.
Yes, absolutely. Weapon, steel, all the things.
You say the 2 brothers are Orid and Patrick. What was the name of the third?
Melvin Olafsson. He's the foreman. He's the third brother. He's up at the dam. Well, at the moment, not that much is happening. The workers are refusing to do anything. More evidence that this is not a supernatural occurrence, but rather business incompetence. Apparently, they've decided that they shan't work there until their safety can be guaranteed. Their safety. I ask you. Building is a dangerous trade. You have to accept that. Like sailing. Can you imagine if sailors decided that they weren't going to sail until it was safe? Ridiculous.
The colonel has very conflicted. He kind of gets like, I agree, goes to, and then like at the same time he realizes his own forthcomings. The brothers, have I heard of them before?
Yeah, they're like the powerhouse of the Olafsson family. It was one very, very rich. It was one very rich couple who were the head of the Olafsson family, and they had a son who is the eldest, and then they had twins. Now, it was a little bit of a scandal when the parents divided the fortune equally between all 3 of the children. It was a little bit of a scandal because obviously there is an older son who should technically have inherited majority, but they divided everything equally. And they made it a little awkward because, like, a lot of the investments now are in all 3 names, and so for them to make any changes, they have to be in agreement with one another.
Which one is the eldest and which one's the twins? I'm having a feeling you would say Melvin's the eldest. And
Melvin is the eldest, yes.
Has Melvin got a reputation for incompetence in business?
No, quite the opposite.
It's strange that Melvin hasn't managed to get things sorted there.
Well, quite, but sometimes you're out of your depth. Anyway, are you saying that it is the dam and the electric that's brought you here?
It is this time, yes.
How interesting. Are you thinking of investing?
Potentially. I was looking into it in different channels, and being able to speak to you, I mean, to find out more about electric. What do you feel about this?
It's overdue, clearly not working. It is unfinished. The workers have started to refuse to work. Apparently the dam is haunted. And she rolls her eyes. Apparently the dam is haunted. I don't see how they're going to get this non-starter up off the ground. I mean, it has foundered. Let's face it. It has foundered on a metaphorical reef, and it is doomed. It would take a small miracle for that to come loose.
Would you want it to? If it did.
Well, absolutely. This electric is fantastic. Fantastic. We have lights at the flick of a switch. Like, night becomes day. We can work 24 hours. 24 hours. We can deal with flammables and explosives much safer. No open flames. Safety on the dock. Safety in the town. More work. More profit. Why wouldn't you want that?
This is true.
I even hear that if everyone was to have access to electricity, we could all have a telegram installed in our home. Can you imagine? Instant letters! It would change the world. Change the world.
But it would also take away your privacy.
Ah! Privacy. Pish posh. Who cares? Profit! If it took off, I may even maneuver myself into the wiring and telegram business. I've already put feelers out.
You too, then, eh?
Oh, come on. Your father's steel is the best in Europe. You don't think that I didn't immediately get on the telegram with him and have a conversation about whether he had copper capabilities? A joint endeavour. I mean, the profits will be ludicrous, so I don't mind sharing.
It's good to know the old man's still got some of his wits about him.
Oh, he drove a hard bargain.
I mean, I should feel bad about that, but I don't.
He was very shrewd. Very shrewd. Honestly, I would say that it's a fair deal. And this time, I'm being honest. He's become a wise old goat in his age. Clearly, I do too much business with him. I need more young, naive businessmen who, with a couple of undone buttons, will agree to any pricing.
Yes, there'll be a few of them coming up soon.
Yes, and I cannot wait, and neither can the bank. Where are you staying?
I was hoping you were setting us up aboard.
Oh, thank gods! For a moment I thought you were going to say a hotel, which would have been ghastly. Absolutely ghastly. You'll have to stay with me, I'm afraid. The local guest house. The local hovel for outlanders is ghastly. It's truly ghastly. I was invited to have a business meeting there with a rather strange business party from abroad. And they'd set themselves up in their hotel. It's hardly. Hovel-tel, more like. And they wanted a business meeting there. And I was more than happy to go over. And do you know? The beer glasses were clean. Honestly, I've never been so disappointed in my life. You don't drink beer for a clean glass. You drink it for the experience, the enjoyment. If you're going to serve it in a glass, at least make sure that it's a slightly grubby one, yes? Or a horn, surely. We can't forget the old ways. The old ways are best. There is a reason we used to drink beer from horns. We should carry on. Not clean glasses, clean glasses. And get ready, tablecloths.
I forget the differences. I'm used to cleaning glasses and tablecloths.
Tablecloths? It's a tavern with some extra bedrooms. It's getting far above its station, and that, I must say, upsets me. Either do it properly or not at all. Be a fabulous, grubby tavern with some extra bedrooms where the fight might break out at any minute so that we can all have that experience. Or be fancy. None of this halfway house shenanigans.
To be honest, I'm surprised to hear you're happy for yourself, hotel-wise, for your business clients to come in and out of.
Oh no. The complaints. I've never been very good at dealing with complaints. That's why I have an assistant. You know, she can smile sweetly and apologise no matter what someone says to her.
Never got that trick.
Honestly, she's like a miracle worker. I'd be pushing a bread knife for their heart by the 2 words in. She, full conversation. She can even placate the angry. It's a skill I don't have. I just wade into battle and hope I win.
Well, I had to deal with officers, so I had to keep a stoic face rather than a smile.
People always said to me, you'll have to school your face for business. You'll have to school it. A calm face is a business face. Hardly. I tell you, when you have a businessman sitting there trying to, skim profits off the top, one raised eyebrow and he's quivering in his cheap suit. Never underestimate the power of an expressive visage. Anyway, we're getting far bogged down in details.
Yeah.
You'll stay with me because I can't bear for you to be in some weird limbo of cheap tablecloths and clean beer glasses. I can't. Either it needs to be a tavern on the dock or finery. Really, it does. So you'll have to stay with me because I can't bear to put you in that strange purgatory. I've got spare rooms aplenty. I don't know how many you need, and I don't really care to ask. You will just select rooms, pick which ones you want. They're all en suite. I decided early on when I remodeled the house that they must be en suite. There can't be any sharing of a bathroom. Not at all. So they're all en suite. Take your pick. Run wild. The pantry is full to bursting, as is the wine cellar. You can have anything that isn't locked down. And she looks over at you, Max. There are several wines in there under lock and key, I'm afraid. But please help yourself to everything else. Honestly, it is only the best. But I must warn you, there is There is the prison of temptation, I call it.
What is in this prison?
Wine! I just told you.
Right.
All the most expensive wine that can't possibly be drunk unless something cataclysmic was to happen.
Or very profitable?
Wine has a very good habit of increasing in price the older it gets.
Precisely. Unless, I don't know, the moon turned red and Ragnarok came. Like, I would need the Hounds of Fenris at my doorstep before I cracked some of those wines open.
Isn't that next week? No. It's a good job we don't have Dagmar with us.
Who's Dagmar?
One of our acquaintances, their palate is open to all things alcoholic.
Yes.
Oh, fabulous. They sound like a person after my own heart.
However, they do own a lockpick.
Now I just like them even more. Well, you have had a very long journey. What ship did you come on, by the way?
The Titanic?
The Octavia.
The Octavia.
The Octavia. Ooh, a tinny with a steam engine. That was bold. I did not expect that from you, Barty.
I must admit, I religiously charmed by them something different than the traditional wooden frame.
I'm assuming, and she looks not at you, Colonel, but at Signy and Max. I'm assuming he paced terribly, barely slept, was foul to be around, and at the slightest sound, ducked for cover or ran for a fire exit.
Yes, on all counts. That's why he looks the way he does today.
Uh-huh. I mean, I knew you'd arrived by ship, you see. Just one look at Barty, and I knew that a boat had been involved.
Yes.
Well, it was very brave of you to get on a steam tinny.
Isn't it safer than a wooden traditional sailing vessel? Like, the colour's starting to drain out from the Colonel's face at the idea.
Well, I mean, apparently, the sales pitch is that they're far safer, stronger, more durable, can sail the seven seas and the oceans, etc. But if you ask me personally, the thought of being trapped inside a giant tin can with a massive exploding engine in the inside of it, suspended over the ocean, sounds terrible. Sails. And oak.
Considering you deal with ships, how many more of these tinnies go down compared to the traditional sailing vessels?
Less, infuriatingly. It would appear that the sales pitch may actually be true.
And like visible, a little bit of relief that he might make the right decision.
Right, we have to close for the evening. We can't possibly sit here when there's more wine and opulence back at mine. I have had a French 3-piece sofa arrive, and I've got to tell you, it's hideous. And I love it. I adore it. But it is ghastly. I'm almost certain whoever made it was blind. Who put those colours together, I don't know, and that is why I fell in love with it. As you well know, I have a weak spot for all things hideous.
And also French.
I mean, one would think the two go hand in hand, but please don't let them know that I have that opinion. I deal with them quite a lot on my trade routes. Champagne is profit. Although the last few years it's been diabolical. Drought.
Yes.
Apparently grapes don't like to be dry. Who knew? But come. We have to gather ourselves together, and we must immediately head off. There is a flurry of activity as this very vibrant woman seems to herd you like cats. Out of the door and down the street. As you arrive at a rather imposing looking house not far from the offices. She opens the door and motions for you all to enter. And she closes the door and turns to you, Signy, and she says, This Bohemia look, it's very French. It is all the rage at the moment, and I see that you have kept completely up to date. I'm very happy to see that the Colonel has finally found some stylish friends. Please help him. I am sick of the uniform.
So are we.
You need to intervene.
He has 11 of them.
Do you not think he would look wonderful in orange?
Signy's going to put on a bit of a slightly posher accent now that this woman clearly thinks that she actually chose to dress this way. And she'll be like, oh, definitely.
Not that she's just destitute.
Exactly.
Orange.
Cover the
Honestly,
fact that you can see my toes through my shoes.
orange.
Open-toed sandals, darling.
Of course.
Well, let me give you a quick tour. And she whips you round the house. Now, she shows you where all the guest rooms are and how the en-suites work. Mostly, she has to show Signy because she has plumbing.
Whoa.
Which I imagine, like, Signy, you would have had plumbing for your toilet, but probably not a bath with
No.
You would be heating, you'd be sitting your metal bathtub by the fire, filling it with water with a bucket, and then putting hot stones in it from the fireplace. So to have running hot water is a bit of a thing. However, she does have to tell you, I paid a small fortune to have hot water piped to these rooms, and now look, no electricity, no hot water. Another reason why someone needs to get up there and sort out the dam. She continues the tour. She lets you basically pick any room you like and just chuck your belongings in there. She shows you the grand dining room, which is very beautiful and is clearly inspired by Old English architecture. Like, it's got wood paneling, wood beams in the ceiling. She has suits of armor and some paintings, and it's all clearly done up to sort of look like it. She takes you to the kitchen, which is a beautiful, very well-appointed kitchen. Although you do notice that some of the there are some very old appliances in there. Like, there's a wood-burning stove. And there are some modern appliances in there as well. Like, an odd-looking cooker that doesn't have a stove in it. Or at least there's nowhere to put wood or coal or... and you assume this must be also some format of electrical nonsense. She shows you where all the food is. She shows you where the wine cellar is. She tells you to just help yourself to everything. Make yourselves comfortable. This is your home while you're here. She shows you where her office is, but she explains that her office is always locked. And she shows you to her new and exciting French sitting room. And it is indeed hideous. Like, the colour palette of these things, someone has clearly selected colours intentionally to clash. So it's quite jarring. It's quite jarring and quite gaudy. And it is all sort of shiny and silk and chintz and drapes. And, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. You do notice there's a very noticeable absence. There is no one else in this house. It's not a mansion, but it is a very large, very, very beautiful house. And there's no one else in it. Which Max and Colonel, you would notice immediately as being quite odd. Like, where's the maid? And the butler and the cook? Like, where are the people that run this house? Like, where are her staff? Where are they? Because they're not here. And she didn't show you any staff rooms. Like, she didn't say, that's the staff wing. Just didn't happen. Signy, you're probably slightly oblivious to
totally
realising that there would be staff.
I'm literally stroking the curtains, pretending that I know and being like, oh, these are lovely.
Paris, darling, Paris.
How would she be about asking that kind of question? I mean, she's quite an independent lady, so...
She is the sort of lady that really doesn't... She's very direct. And there's a small modicum of expectation that people will be direct with her as well.
Her family used to have butlers.
Yes, her father certainly did. Her father was... He was new money. He wanted everything. Like, he would gather intelligence from aristocracy staff as to what the insides of mansions looked like and would try and emulate it. Like, he was that kind of awkward new money who desperately were trying to buy their way into the aristocracy, the gentry. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He was very that. Her parents were very that.
Where's butler?
Oh! Where are the staff? Typical. I'm afraid you will have to do everything yourself. Not that I don't believe that you can't do that. You know, you were in the forces. I'm sure you know how to iron and clean and cook and all those sort of things. But really, Barty, I thought you were far more down to earth. I tell you how I do it. I have decided that nobody should be a servant. No one is better than anyone else. I'm not better than anyone else in the town. I'm just lucky. I inherited a very good business and I've been very good at running it. I'm just lucky. Doesn't make me better than anybody else. I didn't like the idea of live-in stuff. It made me feel like I was uncomfortable. So, I bought the butler a house, and I bought the maid a house. And I gifted it to them, and I said, you have your own home. You can run your own business. Run your own business. If you want to still work for me, that is great, but I will employ you, and you will have your own home and your own business. You don't need to... You can have your own things. You deserve them just like I do. So I set them up, and I set them up small businesses. Now, the cleaner, the maid, she is wonderful. She does my house once a week, but she also does several other houses in the town. She has so much work on her plate that she has hired a couple of the other young women in the town and started her own business cleaning houses. Now, everybody is able to have a cleaner that they can pay for, putting money into the village. They then spend the money, and voila, we have an economy in the town. The butler, on the other hand, he remained my butler for a very long time until he decided to retire. You see, he has a young family and has become a grandfather in his old age, and they have all moved in together into the house in the town, and they live this beautiful little family life all together. Adorable. And I just do my own butlering. Do you know what? I can shine my own shoes.
Fascinating. Go ahead.
Sigley, not really. Usually a fan of rich people, is intrigued by this. So, does she believe her? Do I have any reason to believe that she's not telling the truth? Because she's also a huge gossip.
Give me an observation check.
Okay.
You do, unfortunately, have a hinder.
Oh no. Okay. So I put -1.
-1.
Oof.
Holy Dickens. You have no reason not to believe this woman. However, like, it does seem a little too, like, really? Like, you had a dream about fairies, you were okay with that, but this woman...
A rich person caring about
Do
people.
you know what I mean? You're like, I am
Okay.
not so sure about this. But, like,
She gives me
she's
no reason.
very direct. And there are clearly no stuff here. And you definitely do not imagine her putting on an apron and mopping the floor. Do you know what I mean? So, like,
Okay.
the facts seem okay.
Fascinating.
Oh, don't fascinating me. The chances of that taking off in England are slim to none. Can you imagine the Queen would roll over?
Never take on in England.
Would never take on in England.
Well,
But it's worked wonderfully here.
it might work in England if we were to take some of the profit as well. If we just set up an investment. Like, Barty's now trying to think of his own way through this.
Just doing all the, like, all the business calculations yourself.
Yeah.
So what is your plan then, now that you're in town? I assume that you'll just sleep the night, have breakfast, and then head over to the dam.
Well, that is correct, yes. We would like to get involved with the dam as soon as possible.
Well, I did tell the Olafsons that I had a very lucrative business partner coming from overseas to talk to them about investment. They were very eager. She looks really disappointed. Honestly. I said the word business partner, and their little mouths opened like chicks. I'm not feeding them. I was very disappointed. Cards by your chest. Use your expressions as weapons, yes, but cards to your chest. The desperation was uncomfortable. I washed my hands when I left the place. It's contagious, don't you know? Desperation is contagious.
I will admit, you seem to fascinate me. They are either very competent, or they've found some very bad luck.
Yes, well, I'm sure you'll find out tomorrow. You can head over there first thing in the morning. No, not first thing in the morning. Absolutely not. I shan't have you seeming desperate at all. We will go after luncheon. Well, you'll go after luncheon. I've got a business meeting in the afternoon. After luncheon. Make them wait. You should always aim to arrive 10 minutes late. That way, they're already a little flustered that you may or may not have arrived, and you'll know if they're interested because they'll have stayed and waited.
Do any of the staff who are on strike currently work in the village as well, or in the town?
Oh, yes, absolutely. They hired, well, they brought in a lot of their own stuff, which they housed in the town. It was very sensible. It's brought a boom to the town, if I'm completely honest with you. Huge investment in the dam has trickled all the way down into local businesses. Genius. Absolute genius.
As one of them seemed to be leading the strike or leading the group.
Ah, that is a good question. You're very sharp, as always. The answer is yes. It is a little sad, if I'm completely honest with you. His name is, please hold while I pull up Fantasy Name Generator for a name. His name is Mats Sommerfeld. He is leading the strike after a very unfortunate series of events led to the loss of his wife on site. I don't know what happened. It's all very hush-hush. But suffices to say, in the space of 2 days, several of the workers lost their lives in, I don't know, not mysterious circumstances. Well, it does feel mysterious, because no one will really explain how it has happened, but several workers lost their lives, and when Mats's wife lost hers, I think that was the last straw, and they all went on strike.
Where can I find Mr. Sommerfeld?
Oh, he is down Sommerveien, at the 4th house on the left, I do believe.
We'll go into the meeting tomorrow. I might get a little more information about the inner workings.
Very sensible. shrewd businessman as always, I see. Either that or you're on a scouting mission and this is some terrible Black Ops adventure. I don't really want to know either way. Just behave yourself, okay? I did vouch for you.
If anything comes down the pipeline, don't worry. You'll be the first to know.
Well, that fills me with confidence. Suddenly, there is that tinging, zinging sound of the electricity coming back on, and all of these lights kind of tinging their way back on. And suddenly, the room is very brightly illuminated in a kind of chintzy, shade of pink. For all of the electric lights have got these pink lampshades that are... The addition of this colour pink in the lighting has only added to the colour palette catastrophe going on in this room. But somehow, in exactly the same way, has seemed to unite all of the disparate colours into a single... terrible decision. Ah! The electric's back on. Don't get your hopes up. If it holds for 30 seconds, then it's likely to hold for a while. But I tell you, on, off, on, off, on, off. You see, the original hydropower plant was part of the foundations for the dam. So it's all sort of been incorporated. And unfortunately, without the dam being finished, there's not enough electricity. And so we have these rolling blackouts. Rolling blackouts. Can you imagine?
No, I can't. The idea is still getting strange to us.
It does seem annoying that it keeps going on and off. However, I'm sure there must be a way of being able to generate the electricity the town requires without having the need for a dam.
Don't look at me, I don't understand how this electricity thing works.
No, neither do I. It is the work of dark and evil spirits.
Oh, gosh. Imagine. No, don't imagine. Well,
Imagine where is it?
You must be tired and weary from your journey and urgent for a good bath. Or at least wash.
Well, now that the electric's on, the idea of a hot bath sounds rather lovely.
Don't get your hopes up. I don't know how much hot water there'll be. However, we will persevere. We have a kettle, we have ourselves, and our determination. Come, let's try and draw some baths. Make sure that they're warm. You can get yourselves washed and changed and a little more comfortable. And while you're doing that, I will draw together a supper.
Thank you.
Sounds perfect.
Thanks very much. Signy's literally going to leave the room really quickly to try and be the first person to the bath.
Imagine what Signy's going to be like when she realises she has a bath all to herself and no one is going to share the bath water. And that is, your evening is spent luxuriating in a hot bath with changing into clean clothes enjoying the comforts that this house has to offer, and a really lovely supper drawn together by Vivica, who turns out to actually be quite an exceptional host. Before you know it, the evening descends into enjoying some very expensive liquor and playing canasta. Before eventually the evening draws late and you all go to bed. Night falls and sleep finds each of you, and you drift off. The Colonel slips into a comfortable and dreamless sleep. The sleep of someone deeply tired, finally in a safe space. However, Max and Signy are not quite so lucky, for your dreams are filled with a strange, twisting sensation akin to being trapped in a vast quantity of swirling water. Both of you start awake, as if from a bad dream. The sounds of crashing waves fading away into the night. However, in your half awake, half dream-like state, the smell of roses presses in on the both of you. It is thick and heady, and it gathers around you like a weighted blanket. And you feel calm and sleepy and comfortable. And you feel yourselves slowly drifting back off to sleep, until you both start awake again, remembering the smell of roses. And as you open your eyes, you are surrounded by a strange and twisting organic landscape of briar, roses, vines. There is a strange twinkling light and the sounds of far-off voices singing a gentle alien tune, accompanied by the delicate sounds of a harp. You are comfortable, you are warm, and everything has gone slightly wrong because the cat has just clambered over my PC. Are
There
we
we go.
back?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
You! horrible little creature. I'm back. Oh, and we had a hype train while I was having technical difficulties. It's not an episode of The Society without technical difficulties.
At least she didn't press the restart button.
Yeah, I know. Huge thank you to everyone who contributed towards the hype train. You're all adorable and we love you very, very much. But back to the story, because
Is it not break time?
the story cannot be stopped. You look around and both of you recognize that you are again in the realm. You are in the realm of Evie, the queen of the Wild Rose throne. And it's there, as you wake up in the dream world, that we will go for a short break. I'm so excited that the fireflies are moving in stream this time round. This brings me so much joy. We are going to go for a short break. How does... it'll be just over 15 minutes. So should we return on the hour, cast?
Oh, oui.
Yep.
All right. We're going to go for a short break. We're going to have a little short rest. We're going to roll our hit die, drink some health potions, etc., etc. And we will be right back on the hour. We will see you then. Oh. Yay! Oh, for God's sake! We literally went back live and there were no cameras. I don't know why. I don't know
Episode 2.
I don't know what's going on. I'm very confused most of the time.
I'm so glad that's your job, not mine.
Honestly.
Everyone's glad it's your job, not mine.
I know, right? Thank you for the follow! Okay, right. Where were we? I'll tell you where we were. We were here. It's mysterious. Unusual dreamscape that you both awaken in. I might zoom in. There you go. What do you do? What are you doing?
I mean,
What's
we've
happening?
been here before, so I would just climb out of bed quite casually.
Yeah,
Wait
Max
to
would.
be beckoned in
Max
some
would,
direction.
I think he'd get out on the wrong side of bed and get a face full of roses. Because the last time he awoke here, he got out to the left.
Oh, and you're in the other bed this time.
Yeah, this time I'm in your bed.
I'm in a random bed. Yeah, I will get out and start walking and wait to be directed.
You just hear from the other side.
Max?
Hi.
Oh, you are here. Oh, good. I'll walk towards your voice.
Max is like down a level, but they're not like literally. It's a step.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally a step between these levels. There is none of the strange winged creatures that you have come to know are Elvor or are Elvor. None of them do what they did previously. They just sit and watch you. So they don't approach, they don't help you like up or out of bed, they don't guide you, they just sit and watch you.
I'll kind of push past this one and see if they do anything to get to Max.
No, they don't. They just sit and watch you with their strange, unnatural eyes.
Well, I think we know where we're going this time.
I mean, this is more strange than last time.
Maybe it's because they don't need to tell us where to go this time.
Oh yeah, I'm going to start skipping forward.
Max will skip behind you because obviously this is a custom he is not aware of and thus must follow it.
And we know where we're going, so I will go up here.
It's very difficult to skip upstairs. And then he'll do the bow.
And then I will copy, having completely forgot myself.
As you bow, there is a gentle breeze that picks up the rose petals and sends them crashing about the throne room. It feels different. There is not innocent joy or curiosity. There isn't that strange dream-like quality here. The rose petals get picked up and chucked about by the wind, most of them getting entangled or impaled in the briar. Sitting on the throne is the same great creature that you now know is Queen Evie. She seems completely lost in thought as you rise up the steps and into the kind of domed chamber in which she sits. She eventually looks in your direction, but she looks almost past you, and she says, "You are here. You are close." And as she says the word close, she focuses in on the both of you, and there is a really nauseating moment where space seems to bend. The whole view in front of you seems to flatten into a 2D image and then re-expand outwards, making itself 3D. Only the creature in the throne is no longer in the throne, but right in front of you, as if she had compressed the whole of reality to instantly appear in front of you. And when she arrives in front of you, she shrinks down so that she is about the same size as you are.
Apparently there have been attacks at the dam.
Yes, there have been.
By whom?
By a creature. A darkling. A thing of evil wielding terrible magic.
Is that why you brought us here?
It is new. It came with the rising of the moon. And now our need is greater than before. For this creature has attacked my people in the dam. In this great tomb of stone. And they are lost. Gone.
The deaths at the dam?
Yes.
They weren't people. Humans as such, but your people.
Many lost their lives. They're gone. They won't ever come back.
If we are able to remove the darkling, would you be safe?
Not if the tomb of stone strangles the river. But we cannot stop it now, for the darkling resides in the stones. In the shadow, it will see the river strangled. And we will be lost, forgotten and drowned.
Are you north of the dam? Above the dam, that is. Or downriver?
I have seen it. I have seen it in the future, the coming of the water. It will not stop. There is nothing we can do. all will drown in its icy embrace. All will be lost. You must go. You must go now. Fight the darkling. Stop the murder of the river and save us.
We will attempt to.
You must. For if that tomb of rock and stone is completed and the river laid to rest, we will go with it, and will be lost for all eternity.
Thank you for your time.
Go. You must save us.
Max bows.
And she drifts backwards, seemingly expanding as she does so until she is the appropriate size for the great throne behind her. Which is, again, a very nauseating experience. It's like looking in a fun house, like she seems to get bigger as she goes away from you, which breaks like what your brain is expecting to see. And as she sits on the throne, you see she is already wearing a crown of rose thorns. As she sits on the throne, from her shoulders, and it cascades down from her shoulders, a suit of armor just materializes, pouring down her like water. And the armor is made out of woven rose briar and thorns. And it clads her in this vicious looking armor of thorns. And as the dream fades, you see a terrifying otherworldly creature ready for war. And it awakens both of you with a start in your beds in the mansion in the big house. Yeah. I couldn't remember the word. Whoop, there you are.
Max will look at the clock and will just say to himself, I'm never going to get a good night's sleep. And will turn over and be like, I'll wait until the morning.
Signy's gonna go into the bathroom. She feels very out of her depth. And she'll splash her face and look in the mirror and just be like, we got this. And then she's not gonna go to sleep. Because she now can't sleep.
As you say, so you're in the bathroom and you splash your face, and you just compose yourself and you say, I've got this. A little voice, a voice that you recognize, says, yes, we have.
You're not helping.
I'm always helping.
Shh. I'm going to try and zone out and not Signe definitely can't sleep now. To distract herself, she would like to go and raid the pantry
Yes!
for some biscuits. And assuming this is quite a posh establishment, she is gonna, if there was shampoo or soap left in the bathroom, she's gonna package it up to send home to her mum with the biscuits.
Yes!
Gonna
When
sit on
you-
her bed and write a letter telling her mum about everything she's done and how amazing it is, and leaving out all the bad stuff.
And you you write this really beautiful letter with the soap, the really, really beautiful soap, and you put the biscuits together. When you package the biscuits, however, that little voice returns. Don't forget to feed me too. I'm always hungry.
I know, it's just so disgusting.
Do eat, or else.
I will open my bag, take out the box, and do the most, if you've seen Titanic, the most Titanic spit into my hand and put it in the box. Now go away. And I'll shut the lid and put the box away. And then I'll try to go back to sleep. Casually.
Everything's fine, right?
Yep.
Everything's
My
fine.
life is absolutely fine.
Everything's fine.
It's under control.
You do manage to get yourself back to sleep. And the morning comes. Now, Colonel, you wake up feeling fabulous because this is the first time you've slept properly in probably a week, because it's a long old journey. Like, you have travelled like a very long way on the ship. But you wake up feeling refreshed and rejuvenated, like this is the first like full night's sleep you've had in ages. So you get that the fabulous feeling. Max and Signe, not so much.
However, when Max does doth awake, he gets himself dressed very quickly, looking fabulous, strolls out of his room straight over to the Colonel's room, opens the door, doesn't bother knocking, and goes, "I've got something to tell you."
The Colonel is currently pressing his uniform. So his trousers, bare-chested, uniform being pressed. Has Signe decided to try to steal something? Please tell me that girl has not tried to steal something.
I don't know yet. I haven't been watching her in my sleep. However, and I will recount the dream and exactly what happened. And Darkling, ring any bells? Did you see that anywhere? Have you? I don't know. You read. I read. Darkling.
So you did watch her in your sleep. She was with you. Yes?
But only for a small amount of time.
Do I have to go past his bedroom to get to the kitchen for breakfast? I'm going to kind of skip past, see the doors open, and be like, and walk in. Morning!
Do you mind? The Colonel's in a state of undress and I flap my cape up.
I'm going to turn around, really like red and sheepishly. What are we talking about? Are you telling him about our dream?
Yes.
Darkling.
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 Darkling's living in
Darkling.
the stone.
In the shadows in the stones.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it came with the moon.
The rising of the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Now, apparently, it's the reason for the death.
One more reason to talk to this, the strike leader, Mr. Summerfield.
This is when we kind of need Elstrid. She could go up and see if there's trolls. They might be trying to attack the darkling. We don't know.
When do I get to meet all these people?
Soon. Some of them you'll smell before you see them.
So I am going to be part of your group.
Yet to be seen, you're still on probation.
Also, mother wants you to leave.
She'll be fine. And then dropping the seriousness of the conversation, assuming that you're now dressed.
I'm still pressing the uniform.
Oh.
Yeah, Max is like this still.
She's going to kind of spin round, forgetting herself, and be like, so, Barty.
You have not known me long enough to call me that.
Okay, I was just testing it. How rich are you? You're like super rich, right?
As rich as he needs to be, and not quite as I am.
You're rich. You don't seem rich.
That's because I always leave my wallet at home. Accidentally, of course, but it's how you keep your money.
It is true. Can't take money from men who leave their wallets at home.
Exactly. Can't get robbed either. When it's protected by... Well, how many was it at last count? 156 frogs. And a gator.
Frogs and a gator.
Yes.
They say I'm crazy.
Oh,
And
you
I'm going to
wait.
skip off for breakfast.
Max will then lower his cape, turn around, and face the colonel.
That girl's gonna get into trouble.
Yes.
Is breakfast ready?
Yes, there is the smell of like fresh bread permeating through the house.
So when I go to the kitchen, do I catch Vivica making it?
No, no, you do not. You catch Vivica putting food, like, Vivica is a little bit like Mrs. Doubtfire, right? You know, like, food comes in through window and gets put on fancy plates. Do you know what I mean? So someone has obviously run this over while it's still warm, and she's just putting it out. She's just putting it out on the table. There's fresh bread, fresh cheese, fruit, meat. Did I say meat? I feel like I said meat maybe more than once.
Darkling.
Yeah. Fresh butter.
I will just be like, morning, and then help myself. Manners forgotten.
Morning! How did you sleep? I mean, I don't really know why we ask, but how did you sleep?
Such a comfy bed. Those pillows.
Siberian goose feathers.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
As I'm like stuffing my face. Good food too.
That is one thing this little town does very well, and that's food.
I can tell. Did you sleep well?
Oh, like the dead.
But they don't sleep. As Max
Inexperienced.
walks
They're
in
quite,
through.
yeah, they're fairly chatty.
Like, you get the weirdest look from Vivica because you two have just said the weirdest things. And then she just sort of shrugs it off. Ah, Max, help yourself to breakfast.
Thank you.
I like shove
How?
the plate in your face.
I must say, the Colonel must be slipping.
No, he's pressing.
He's not wearing his top.
Yeah, he's in a state of undress.
And
This one walked in on him. I had to protect his modesty with my cape.
You see a woman filled with questions. Brimming with questions, right? And these questions are literally on the tip of her tongue. She is desperate to ask you, like, what you were doing. Urgent. She urgently wants to know why you were all in the Colonel's room when he was undressed, right? But she stays very calm. What I meant, dear Max, is... it is very unlike Barty not to be up and ready at the crack of dawn.
I was enjoyable Siberian pillows far too much for that.
Ah, I knew you would appreciate the Siberian goose feathers.
And he is very old.
Excuse me?
How
Well,
old?
Gosh. Well. Good morning to everybody. Please help yourselves to breakfast. And then I assume you will go out into town. There will be a light luncheon served at the office if you wish to join. I will be there all day, really. I'm going to be there all day. The ships aren't going to track themselves. I have a few shipment manifests that I need to sign off on. There is a captain of a vessel who needs a stern talking to. And I have a business meeting in the afternoon. So if you need me, you know where I'll be. But I'll be quite busy.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You are more than welcome. Just
How do we
putting
get to the dam?
Pardon?
How do we get to the dam?
Oh, follow the road north out of the town.
Thank
and
you.
Just follow it. It goes to the dam, and that is it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Don't wander off. The
Why?
forest is quite wild. I wouldn't want to have to send a search party after you if you were to get truly turned around.
I might take some snacks for the road. And Max, pops a couple of buns into his cape.
Would you like a... Never mind. Like, she's ready to offer you a napkin to wrap them in, and you're just, jamming them in your pocket.
Yeah.
I'll take the napkin instead and wrap up some food for my bag.
Well, excellent. I'd better go and get myself ready. When she says that, right, this woman is immaculately presented. Okay, she is immaculately presented. So her saying she has to go and get ready seems a little ludicrous. But she says, please do excuse me. I will be heading out to the office shortly. Just make sure the door is closed behind you on your way out. And I will be in the office should you need me.
Absolutely.
Have a lovely morning. Enjoy breakfast.
Thank you again.
And she heads out of the kitchen.
No.
I like her.
So do I.
She's been a friend for a very long time.
You're fucking long.
Shots fired at the Colonel.
Max doesn't have a filter.
And at what point did she start calling you Barty?
When she heard my father call me it. And she teased me greatly through it. All these business trips over here. We stayed here with her father for quite some time. And that was before the war, if you must know.
Do I even know the war? How long ago?
Is it the Boer War?
The Boer War. It's the Napoleonic War.
Okay, just checking. 100 Years' War.
Yes, yeah. You would remember the war, but you were like a child.
Oh, fair. I suddenly have this realization that you're probably as old as my dad.
Oh yeah.
You see Signy suddenly realise that you're probably an authoritative figure, not someone to be.
The uniform didn't get that away.
No, she doesn't really care about uniform. If anything, it just makes her not trust you. So, we're visiting people. We're not using explosives today.
No, not today.
Not just yet. We want to make sure that there's no innocent people there before we start blowing stuff up.
Maybe tonight.
Let's hold off explosives.
Do we have explosives?
I agree. I don't.
I mean, we can get explosives, but that's not the point.
Where do you get explosives from?
You can make it. Just stop.
But why don't I have explosives?
Because you're not trusted with explosives, Max.
Boom.
That's why. So many reasons why.
Boom.
I have a slight idea. If people died there, we can talk to them.
Max at this point, like kind of like dead eyes, her straight in the face, like
Not a trick. No conning.
you. I don't believe you. We already have one of you. We don't need another one of you here. This is
already have
duplication of skills within the party.
This was not well thought out.
So you have the skills of your mother to be able to talk to.
Hmm?
You have the skills of your mother to be able to talk to the dead.
No, but
Yes. Yes.
She's a fake.
like between us, Mum is
Fake.
yeah, but very good at it. And if people are foolish enough to fall for it,
And pay her.
that's their fault. It's an honest living.
There is nothing honest about it.
I, however, have spoken to some dead people.
You
Hand on heart.
sixth sense.
Albeit my nan, but I just thought I'd put the idea out there.
No, it's something I already thought about. Yes, Colonel. What the problems?
The idea of talking to the deceased,
You helped me do it on the train.
I know it's still unsettling.
Just know that if you pass, we can still have these conversations.
Please
Breakfast has descended
leave
into
me in
threats.
peace. Please leave me in peace. I will have more demons to deal with in the afterlife than I wish to care for.
But we might need your assistance and your guidance.
And I'll be very happy to help you with that while I'm alive.
A conversation for another day.
While alive, yes.
Yes.
So, once we've finished here, let's make our way over to Mr. Summerfeld. To him.
I wonder if the darkling is the one that killed his wife.
Which means you might have
And
seen something.
Max wanders off.
I'm just gonna... Barty, sir. What do I call you?
Sir,
Sir, can you...
Colonel!
I need to send this to my mum. And I'll give you the package. Which is very clearly a parcel. And ask you to deliver it.
I can show you how to do this.
Okay.
So you can send more to her if you wish to.
We did promise we'd stay in touch. But you'll pay for it, right?
Considering I am meant to be keeping an eye on you, I suppose I am meant to.
Perfect. Thank you. I'll put it back in my bag. Are we going?
I suppose we'll stop off there first and get that job done. The sooner the better.
Yes, please, sir. Barty, Colonel. Sir.
Colonel or Sir.
Okay. Understood.
You two come egg!
I'll skip.
Straight in uniform. Roll his eyes and then move on.
And you head out into the town of Hammerfest. Even though it is morning, it is still dim in Hammerfest. A very gentle warning that winter is coming. And that the night is drawing in. You spill out of Vivica's house and out onto the road and close the door behind you. Where are you going?
The Queen said that the Darkling came on the night of the rising moon.
Uh-huh.
Do we know if that's the same night that the deaths happened? Or was that like after, or? We don't know.
Not as yet. Maybe Mr. Summerfeld. Well, Max would probably have an almanac and would know roughly when the new moon rose. Because that's generally the term for the moon rising.
Uh-huh.
So he would have checked to see when that was.
Yeah. The new moon rose before you had the first dream.
Yeah, so about almost 8 days ago now.
Oh, it'll be longer than that.
Is it a 10-day journey? Did you say? Sorry.
Might be even. So, thinking about the carriage, the train, and then the boat, it might be 2 weeks.
So we're at full moon now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, coming up to. We'll have to ask when we get there.
First, let us send a telegram back to this one's mum.
I will
Why
follow
do we
you.
do that?
All
That's a
right.
good question, actually.
You would head to the post office. Is where you would go. So the post office is where you can obviously send the... That was the wrong layer. The post office is obviously where you can send the parcel back to Bergen. It's also where you can send a telegram.
Signy, have you composed a letter to send to your mother?
I will walk to the desk and say, "Good morning. I would like this. Sending to Madame Veilbrock in Bergen." And then wait expectantly.
The
Like, that's
cashier...
enough information.
The cashier queries the actual address, like the street name, etc. And you like through a little conversation, you're able to work out where the parcel needs to go. The cashier weighs the parcel and then tells you it's quite a lot of money.
I'm just
Like for Signy would be like, "Whoa, that's a lot of money."
I'm going to kind of step back a bit, but and then look at the Colonel
Colonel, it's cheap's chips.
a little sheepishly. And just kind of mouth like,
And kind of like furrow my brow at the wow and hand the money across. Actually, you're gonna look to give it to Signy first, and then hand it to the cashier.
And they give you some change, stamp all the things, and I mean it's good to go. It will be heading back to Bergen on the first post boat.
You should send a telegram. Have you composed your letter?
I put it in the box.
But you've composed a letter to send us a telegram to let her know that you're here safe, yes?
I mean, I told her what I'd been up to. And I sent biscuits and soap.
Irrelevant.
Where did you get the soap?
Caught red-handed.
Shh. Not important.
But you have a letter to send as a telegram to your mother, yes?
I put a handwritten letter in the box. Let's go to the family. Mum
No,
knows I'm
no.
safe.
I will send to the cashier and ask, can I send a telegram, please?
Of
To
course.
this one's mother.
The same address as before.
The same address as before.
That can be arranged. What is the message? If you could write it on here, and they like slide you over the telegram slip, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you like a finite amount of space to write your message.
Literally just writing it. Everything is safe. We have arrived safely.
Okay.
We
Don't forget to include stop. If you're gonna tell me a telegram message, I need the stops in it.
Signy safe. Stop. Arrive safely, stop. Should conclude business soon, stop.
Okay. Nice. It's all arranged, all sorted. It will be sent to the Bergen Telegram office and then out with the post.
Right. Let us make haste.
Lead the way.
Yes.
Right.
Please lead on, Ken.
You are going to... I don't even remember what I said when I, off the cuff, just thought of an address. Summervey, the fourth house on the left.
Yep.
Okay. That's really not a helpful set of instructions, is it?
Not really.
Because that really depends which way you're facing.
good. I hope it's house numbers.
It's gonna be 1, 2, 3.
That one?
This one.
That one.
Yeah.
How busy is the town as we're walking through?
It's quite busy. It is a bustling industrial town.
There doesn't seem to be any people that aren't doing anything, as if they're the ones on strike.
Yeah, there's quite a few people who are like sitting out on their porch smoking, sitting on the steps of their house. Do you know what I mean? That kind of like they've quite visibly aren't doing anything.
I'm just going to take note of the amount of people we can see that aren't working.
Okay, it's quite a few. When you arrive at the house, can I get a vigilance check, please? It will be from whoever has the highest vigilance. And you
Okay.
have a help.
Highest vigilance.
Unusual.
So mine is... I'll check. 6. Amy, do you know how to check your full vigilance score?
No, but I'm 0, so I'm guessing not.
But what's your logic score?
4.
So your vigilant check is a 4.
Yeah, perfect.
Mine's 7.
Oh, so you add it. Okay, cool.
And you get a help.
+1.
Yeah.
How did you get a success?
Because of the help.
That'll do it.
As you approach the fourth house on the left, you hear what sounds like an argument on the inside. There are several voices inside the house arguing. But it's muffled outside. Like, it's muffled from the street. With the noise of the street and the town and the seagulls and the dock, you can only hear muffled, but it's definitely like a heated debate or an argument.
I will try and listen for a little bit, try and make sense of what's being said on the other side.
It's almost impossible to make out with
Okay.
the sound of the street. It's already muffled.
In that case, I'm just knocking the door.
Okay. There's a little pause. Like, it goes quiet on the inside of the house, and there is a little pause. And then the door opens, and a rather tired-looking man in simple clothes opens the door, and he says, "It's about time, Joe." Oh. sorry, I was expecting someone else. How can I help you?
Mr. Summerfeld?
Yes.
My name is Lieutenant Colonel Bartholomew Seaton. I hear that you're currently on strike from the dam project.
Yes, you hear correctly. You hear from a room in the house another voice. It's a male voice who's like, "Is that Joe?" And the guy at the door says, "Oh, sorry, 1 minute." And he turns and shouts back into the house, "No, it's some colonel."
I definitely giggle to myself.
I wish to find out some more information about the incident that happened to your wife.
Why? What does it concern you?
2 reasons. One, I've come here to investigate more of the dam itself, to see what kind of procedures they're running and if it's worth investing into. But if they are being as brazen and not being able to maintain their workers' safety, they say, I wish to bring down any kind of wrath that I can and help anyone who wishes to do the same.
Ooh, give me an inspiration check.
Oh, yeah. Hinder as well.
You have a hinder.
Oh, shit.
We don't believe in you.
What are these crazy dice rolls?
I say I'm not rolling anything else tonight.
When you say about your intention to help the workers and to bring down like wrath on anyone that's not ensuring worker safety, he looks up and down the street and then he says, "Come in. We're having a meeting to decide what the workers are going to do next."
I will, off my hand, go, these are my associates. Introduce Max and Signy.
Yes,
How'd you
it's
do?
a pleasure to meet you. Please come in and meet the crew.
You have coffee?
No, I'm afraid not.
Okay.
We have milk.
Okay.
You head
Make way.
into... The inside of the house is very sparse and functional. It is clearly the house of someone of the working class. The only difference is, that makes it a little unusual, is the like electrical appliances in the house, which obviously aren't normally present, but special case here in Hammerfest. Gathered in the living room is a group of people of varying ages and genders. They're all dressed sensibly like working class people. And they all look up at you quizzically when you enter into the living room.
Good morning.
Morning.
So, I hear that you're unhappy with the conditions up at the dam.
To right we are.
Is there a empty seat which is fairly clean?
Yes, there is.
The colonel will move over to it, just look to inspect it to make sure there's not too much dirt on it, and then will lower himself into it.
There's a group of people, 5 in total. It becomes 6. When
Joe turns up.
when Mr. Summerfelt. Oh my god, forgetting the name of my own NPCs. Here you go, everyone. This is how not to DM. Whoever's house this is, Summerfelt, right? I'm looking at all of you, hoping the players nod at me and go, "Yes, it's Summerfelt house." It's 6 when he, it's 6 when he's follows the 3 of you into the room. It will be 7 when Joe arrives, if Joe ever bloody does. So there's 6 of them in total, and they all kind of look at you as you question about the safety in the dam. One of them says, "Look, we need to go back to work. The foreman has told us that the situation is all resolved. He's brought in that specialist. We should go back."
Specialist?
Yeah, specialist.
Who is the specialist?
I don't know. Some southerner. The foreman brought him in to ensure that the dam was safe again. He has. It's done. The dam is safe. We should go back to work. We all need these jobs. We can't be on strike forever. The foreman has done something to fix the problem, and we need to go back, get on with our jobs, and earn a living. Miss Summerfelt is like, bullshit. Just because the foreman says some guy from down south has come and made it all better doesn't mean it is. Do any of you want to end up dead as well? Or what about your families that work at the dam too? We can't go back until we know that we're safe.
I know this might be hard, but can I ask what happened?
There's this really awkward moment, and then someone goes, Do you want me to? Do you want me to? And Mr. Summerfelt says, No, I've got this. Part of the dam collapsed. And it shouldn't have, but it did. There was no reason there was no reason for the explosion, and there was no reason for the dam to collapse.
There was an explosion.
Not a very big one, but it was big enough. And then one of them says, "Are you just going to pretend this isn't happening, or are we going to be honest here? Because we need to talk about this. We can't just sweep it under the rug and pretend it isn't happening. You saw them. I saw them. We all saw them."
Saw who?
the creatures.
And what do these creatures look like?
Little creatures with wings. We all saw them in the dam right before the explosion.
How long ago was the explosion, if you don't mind me asking?
There's like a little moment while they all think, and they're like, was it 3 weeks? Must have been 3 weeks. And then we went on strike that day, and then a week later, the foreman said that the expert had arrived and was going to fix the dam. But I don't know how one person can make this better. I don't know what's going on at that dam, but it's not safe.
Has any of you seen the expert?
One woman at the back of the room who hasn't said anything yet pipes up and she says, I have.
I wonder, did they have anything on them at all?
What do you mean?
A brooch, a chain, a necklace.
Well, they
would be white and red.
They were dressed very smartly. Clearly very wealthy and maybe very well educated. Definitely from the south. He wore a waistcoat. And he had a pocket watch chain.
But no pins or brooches at all?
No, I didn't see anything like that.
Okay, thank you.
He gave me the creeps. He made me feel very uncomfortable. But I cannot explain to you why.
And what's your name, sorry?
Oh god, now you're bloody asking, aren't you?
Ah!
It's Nelly.
The elephant went to town.
Circus. She went jump.
Jump, jump, jump. Thank you. Thank you. Do you know where they're staying? As I'm guessing they must be staying in town, or are they staying up at the dam?
Up at the dam.
Okay.
Or at least, none of us have seen them down in town since they arrived.
Thank you very much.
Other than the obvious work that the dam is bringing in for you all, what is your opinion of the dam?
All of us joined this project because we believed in the importance of it. It could change the country. But we're not going to risk our lives pointlessly. And then the guy who seems to be talking about the fact that it's safe chimes in and he's like, it is safe. The specialist has come. We've given the specialist 2 weeks. It is safe. We have to go back and finish this project. The lights are on and off through the town. If we don't go and finish it, then these lights will never stay on. It is up to us.
What's the general sense of people in the room as he says that?
Everyone, you get the feeling that everyone kind of agrees, but there is fear in the room.
I have a meeting later on with Foreman.
You're going up to the dam.
We are indeed. I can investigate what this specialist has done.
There is a reaction when you say that you're going up to the dam. Several, like, most people in the room are like, ooh. It's almost like you've just announced to the room that you're going to the creepy haunted house. Do you know what I mean? And everyone's like, ooh. And it's noticeable in the room.
I will investigate to see what this specialist has done. And I will get back to you about what I feel about it.
Nelly says, we can't just let them go up to the dam without telling them everything. There's like a little moment in the room where everyone goes really quiet, and then everyone sort of nods, and the oldest person in the room, the one who was talking about having seen all the creatures in the dam and was saying everyone had seen them, he goes, the dam is cursed.
Signy will pipe up at this point and be like, how?
There is some dark and terrible malefiction on that dam, and every single one of us in this room has seen something and knows it to be true. You shouldn't go up there. It is an accursed place. And there is a great doom on anyone who steps foot on the dam. And that is where we will end tonight's session, as the great words of doom roll out upon this meeting of the workers. Et voila!
Et voila! Thank you very much.
So much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
There we go. Take my notes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to do my usual... We're going to do the usual thing. We're going to say thank you to the incredible cast of Chapter 6. Thank you so much. You are all amazebeans. Thank you so much to the incredible cast for coming along this evening, playing and bringing these stories to life. We're gonna go up my Discord this time rather than down. So, Colonel Sniffington, we're starting with you.
So I'm Jack, also known as Viking Jack. I've been playing Lieutenant Colonel Bartholomew Seaton. You can find me on Instagram, though, like again, I've said before, I don't really post anything. Under JMBarber_ the Colonel. Once again, thank you, Luke, for such an amazing experience. It's been fantastic as always. Thank you.
You are more than welcome. Signy, I haven't asked you the questions, but I shall ask you them now. Who are you? Who did you play? Where can we find you? What do you want to say?
I am Amy. I've played Signy. You can't find me anywhere because I'm a tech and
So like a complete technophobe.
complete technophobe, hippie mum. Not
It
happening.
was literally witchcraft that got you onto Roll20.
It so is. There is all sorts happening here.
It
to keep
still
this
is.
going. Yeah. But yeah, thank you, Luke. I'm really enjoying this as my second session. This is amazing.
Yes, super. And Max, last but by no means least, you know the questions. I don't need to ask you them.
I've done it enough. Hi, I'm Mike, and I've been playing Maximilian Fierberg, the paranormal investigator, also known as Mutinous_Mikey. You can find me practically everywhere. Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, I think.
Open your front door. I'll be there.
Yeah. I have been taking a break from streaming, but I am hoping to come back this coming week on Wednesday.
Oh, you heard it here on the Society First. Mutinous Mikey will be streaming on Wednesday. Please bear with me while I try and do two things at once. Yeah, I can do my own shout outs. Look at me go. And on that subject, my name is Loki. I was your game master for this evening's ridiculous shenanigans, chicanery, and mysterious storytelling. Ooh. You can find me here on the Society Livestream, where I try and herd these players like cats and tell you all of these ridiculous stories of adventure and horror in our ongoing Vaesen campaign. If you want to see me as a player instead of as the GM, you can catch me over on Grumpy Battersby's channel every Thursday at 7 p.m. British summertime at the moment. Well, it's British summertime at the moment, so it's 7 p.m. GMT +1. And you can catch me over there playing Flink, the criminal hacker mastermind in Grumpy Battersby's incredible Judge Dredd and the World of 2000 AD. So if you want to catch me as a player, head on over to there on every Thursday, and you can find me there. Other than that, that is all of the things. We're going to head on over to our credit roll while we prepare to raid out. So we're going to say goodbye to the cast members. So
Bye-bye.
all the waving. Thank you ever so much. Now, credits. The credit roll is going to just scroll up here slowly. And it lists off all of the incredible contributors to tonight's stream. So if you saw anything in the stream tonight that you would like to have on your tabletop, please go and follow these links and check out these incredible contributors. We are going to make a special shout out this week to Evie Callie, who is an incredible fan of the show and attends pretty much every week. And the big shout out and thank you goes to Evie for the introduction of our new emotes that are now up and running. So we've got Sandra the Frog, Gay Tier, and then two fabulous emotes of my face in the various expressions that I do while we play this ridiculous game. So a huge thank you to Evie Callie for those fabulous emotes. Thank you so much. We are putting them to good use, I promise. Now, we're going to go and find someone to raid out to. This is where I do my medium gig, and I listen to the voices in my head that tell me from the spirit world who we are going to raid. Spirits, are you there? It's like Eurovision. /raid. Here we go. 3. Yep. S-A. 3 S-A. Crowd. 3's a crowd. 3's a crowd games. Right. What are they playing? We are heading over to 3's a crowd games who are playing Treasure of Abnormality. All right, lovely. I'm going to hit the button. I feel like I need to stop now before I embarrass myself any further. Huge thank you to everybody who came along tonight to support our channel. I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who gifted a sub or renewed their sub, sent gifts, all of those things. Thank you so much for coming along, engaging with us, joining us while we tell all of these ridiculous stories. It is an absolute pleasure to have you, and you are the whole reason that we go live every week, is to basically share these stories with you and have you on this journey with us. So thank you for all of your interactions, your contributions, and all of the support that you give us. It means the absolute world, and we are so grateful to have all of you with us. We are going to be back next week, where we will be continuing on with chapter 6.
We?
But for...
Because Amy's birthday next Sunday,
We
we're not
are
back.
not
You're back.
here. I'm telling lies. Sorry, the voices in my head are telling me that we are not here next week for chapter 6. We are having a little break, but we will be doing a map making stream where we will be continuing on with the really big, epic floating castle map that we have been building in Dungeon Fog.
You
So
have about 10 seconds.
I will repeat that again. See you next week for maps, not chapter 6. See you then.